1, 2, 3, 4. Something I bought myself with my own money, I know. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we have this 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Because this is something so cool. 27? Feels like more. Kilometer Zero Paris. Still, 27's a lot. Okay. Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today with the last book haul inside of this house because, you know, I'm moving. But before we can get into that, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is Scentbird. This is actually such an exciting sponsorship for me because it kind of came at the perfect moment. A couple of months ago, I found myself getting really into perfumes and wanting to change up my scent, and I was doing a whole bunch of research on the kinds that I would want and things like that, and I was really debating between a bunch of different fragrances because perfumes are expensive. And so they kind of came at the perfect time because Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service that lets you choose from over 600 brands to try. And when you're subscribed, you get to choose from all of those fragrances, and then one of them will get sent to your house every single month for just $16. And these are little tester bottles. Let me show you. They come in different colored tube things, and they like twist up, and then yeah, just spritz it like that. And it's really cool because you can actually check it out by pulling it right out from the bottle, and then you have the little fragrance name on it. And basically you just get to choose from all of those lists of fragrances so that you can test one out in a little sample size that'll last you for a full 30 days. And there's no harm, no foul if you end up not liking it, unlike when you buy a whole new fragrance, spend anywhere from like, well, little money up to like $500, and then you end up not liking it. This is so great for an indecisive person like me. Oh wow, did that just get bright or am I losing it? That was weird. And plus, since you're choosing it out yourself, there aren't going to be any surprises, and you get to choose from their perfumes or colognes or unisex scents. And you don't have to worry either, because if there's any month where you want to skip, there isn't actually any penalty for doing so. It is a flexible subscription service, which is amazing because, I mean, maybe you'll find your favorite scent and then you don't want to try a couple for a couple of months. It's also really neat because you get to discover new scents based on your own preferences with a quiz that they have online, and based on your answers, previous purchases, and just your own preferences, they'll narrow down a list of perfumes, colognes, scents that they'll think you'll like to try, which is an amazing way to discover new brands, especially since they work not only with top designer brands like Prada and things like that, but also with very like niche companies. Before we jump into the books, I do want to talk about the scents that I picked out myself. So I got these two. I got the Versace Crystal Noir. This one is hands down my favorite. It's the one that I carry in my purse and have been wearing every day, and you can tell because it's almost out, which is atrocious. I'm gonna have to buy a full size one day. It's just the perfect like sweet but also like, I don't know, deeper ambery toned smell. I've been trying to learn scents keywords and I'm still fairly bad at it, but just to give you a hint, there's coconut, gardenia, pepper, ginger, and sandalwood in it, and it's amazing. I love it so much. And the other one that I wanted to try out was Roja Parfums Elixir, and this one is way more like berry smelling. It's much more of like a daytime smell, like a wearing out and about kind of smell. It's very sweet and berry-like. It's like notes are supposed to be jasmine, rose, vanilla, peach, and raspberry, but I mostly only smell the raspberry, which isn't bad, but I liked the other one better. And Scentbird was actually kind enough to send me 3 other fragrances as well, so I mean, I'm not going to be buying perfumes anytime soon. I have so many to go through. Aren't these just so cute? I love this. Anyways, and the 3 that they sent me was Silhouette by Christian Siriano Intimate. This one is awesome. It smells like the Twilight bath bomb at Lush, so it's very like lavender but vanilla and like strong. I like to spray this before I go to bed. I know that sounds weird, like perfume before going to sleep, but I don't know, I saw Kathleen Light say that she does that, and this is the perfect smell for that, in my opinion, because I love lavender. It doesn't say lavender anywhere on there, but that's what I'm getting from it. It's supposed to be jasmine petals, black sesame seeds, amberwood, Madagascar, vanilla absolute, and cashmere musks. And they also gave me this one, which is Brilliant by Vince Camuto, or Brillante, I don't know has an E at the end. This one has a lot of like berry smells as well, but it's more rose in my opinion. It does have, see, it doesn't even have to say rose on here. It's supposed to be juicy pear, gardenia petals, jasmine, sambac, cashmere woods, and white cedar. And I'm telling you, I can kind of smell the white cedar and the pear, but I don't really smell the jasmine that much. There is like a floral hint to it, but it's much more bright, I guess, than what I normally associate with jasmine. Look at me trying to be a perfume connoisseur. You guys didn't come here for that, and I'm not very good at it. And the last one they sent was Noir de Mai by Veronique Gabai, and this one is supposed to have rose, woods, moss, and amber in it. It smells much more adult than the other perfumes, I will say. I don't know, much more of like a wintry nighttime smell in my opinion. So if you were thinking about checking out Scentbird or wanted to try out new perfumes and this sounds like a great idea for you, then make sure to click my link down below and use the code BIBLIO30 and you'll get 30% off of your first order, meaning that you'll actually get your first subscription for $11, which is amazing. Such a great way to test out perfumes. So thank you so much to Scentbird for sponsoring this video and making me smell amazing because I've been enjoying that a lot. So now let's get into the books that I shall be hauling. It seems like a lot, but I really have a feeling that this is going to go by very quickly. I'm not gonna lie, this haul is more so that I can finally put these books in my shelves and I can film my bookshelf tour. I am moving out in less than 2 weeks and I want like a little snapshot of what my bookshelves look like right now, and I can't really do that without these books in it. I will say like 90% of these books are ones that were sent to me by like Book of the Month and Fairy Loot and Owl Crate, so I was holding off on doing this, but to be fair, I'm on a book buying ban. I'm on an everything buying ban because moving's expensive. I'm just not going to be buying as many books, so I just want to be able to haul these, get them in my shelves, do the bookshelf tour, so don't come for me in the comments. I know I didn't buy most of these. I'll also be linking the videos that I talk specifically about these books in. Alright, the first thing that we're going to start with are ones that I did purchase for myself, and that's going to be A Court of Silver Flames. I feel like I've hauled these already. I have 2 editions. I looked back at my old haul video and I hadn't yet. So yes, I have 2 editions of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. This is just, I believe, the regular edition, and it came in the Illumicrate box that I unboxed in a vlog, which I'll link up above. And obviously I don't think this needs much explanation, but it is the newest book in Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Yes, I do believe that you should read the first 3.5 books in A Court of Thorns and Roses before you get to these, because it's just following the same characters. But no, I don't believe you necessarily have to. I'm incredibly excited to get to these. I haven't had much time to sit down and read, unfortunately, because of moving things, but I've been getting so excited, and I think that Meek and I are going to try to plan to buddy read this. Next up, we have Lore by Alexandra Bracken, and I have 2 editions of this. This is the Owl Crate version, and this is the Out of Its Dust Jacket, weirdly enough, Fairy Loot version. And I have actually read this, which is always fun, but it has to do with Greek gods and a world where a long time ago the Greek gods were bad and they tried to revolt against Olympus, and because of that they have to walk the earth as mortals for 1 week every 7 years, I believe it is, or every few years, and they can be killed, and whoever kills them can take their place as that god. And we are in New York City, in present day New York City, and Lore specifically doesn't want to be a part of these games, knows that they're coming, but she wants to be left out. She has been hurt by them in the past, and she just wants to be living her life without the whole drama that comes with being Greek and knowing of this prophecy, because not everyone knows about it. But of course that's not how it goes, and she's going to get wrapped up in it, and it was really good. I'm just gonna say I loved it. So yeah, I have a huge stack from like all the Book of the Month books, so I'm just going to start going through those. So let's start with What's Mine and Yours by Naima Coster, and this is a literary fiction novel that follows 2 families in the deep divided South, and it's a multi-generational novel, so it's going to follow them through multiple generations, as one might expect. That was a terrible description. I am sorry. Then we have The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and this one is really cool. It gives me Aqua Tofana vibes for all my Bailey Sarian fans out there, but it is a forgotten history, a secret network of women, a legacy of poison and revenge. Welcome to The Lost Apothecary. And it's in 18th century London, where a secret apothecary caters to an unusual sort of clientele. Women who might not be so happy in their marriages. And specifically, this is 200 years later when a historian is uncovering the truth about it all. I just think this is going to be really cool. I'm really sad I haven't read it yet, but I mean, there's time. Then we have In a Book Club Far Away by Tiff Marcello, and this has to do with three army wives who are estranged best friends and how they kind of have to come together again to be there for each other, and maybe as they start a book club to read all the books that brought them together in the first place. We'll do 5 Book of the Month books at a time, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure these were all from the same month. Then we have The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. This is a thriller that has to do with women who go out to target practice and drink martinis and just kind of have a general good time in the middle of nowhere every once in a while, but then a teenage girl's body gets found in their spot that they normally hang out in, and then Sophie, the main character, finds herself wrapped up in a murder investigation that she doesn't want any part in. So this seems very interesting. Then we have Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. Liberty is about a girl who wants to find her own way in life because maybe she doesn't want to be a doctor just like her mother, and maybe she doesn't want to go to medical school and be in the same practice as her either. Maybe she loves music more than science, and it's kind of her having to struggle with that decision, especially in the 1800s in New York, where being a woman alone would make it difficult to pursue your dreams, but being Black and a woman makes it even harder. So definitely a hard-hitting novel. Next we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is the Owl Crate edition, the green edition. I think it's so pretty. I think I have 3 editions of this now, but I'm actually in the middle of it and I'm so excited. This takes place in Shanghai in the 1920s, 1930s, like the flapper era, and we're following a Romeo and Juliet retelling between 2 rival gangs and how they have to come together because there is something sweeping Shanghai and they don't know what it is, and if their gangs are still fighting each other, there is never going to be a way for them to survive it. The Romeo and Juliet of this story, Roma and Juliet, they used to date and they're exes and they have a lot of history, so it's like another added layer to the nice Romeo and Juliet retelling we all would come to know. Alright, let's get through some more Book of the Month books, I guess. We have Too Good to Be True by Corolla Levering, and this is a thriller, and I'm just gonna read you the back because it says 1 love story, 2 marriages, 3 versions of the truth. We have an unreliable narrator, my dudes. Unreliable narrators are probably one of my favorite tropes in thrillers, especially when you go in knowing, because when you don't know it going in, it's kind of disturbing, but yeah. Then we have What Comes After by Joanne Tompkins, and this follows a town that was absolutely destroyed by the news of 2 teenage boys from their town dying and the unknown mystery of how they died, and then a pregnant teenage girl comes out of the same woods in which they were found and is somehow tied to it all, and just how the town is going to come together and move forward past that. Kind of thrillery, kind of emotional. This one, Adam saw it the other day and he's like, arsenic, adobo, and I was like, oh yeah, well apparently the girl's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend dies in her restaurant and they think she murdered him, and he's like, did she? And I'm like, I don't know, I don't think so. But he was instantly intrigued because adobo, he's Filipino if you guys didn't know, and his mom's adobo is chef's kiss. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really excited about this, mostly also because of adobo, but if I don't have adobo in front of me while reading the story, even if there's barely any adobo, I will still crave it, so therefore I'm gonna have to save the story for a day in which I get lucky enough to have some of his mom's adobo. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and this is a romance with 2 best friends. Yes, we have a best friends to lovers romance. Some people's favorite trope, not personally my favorite trope, but this one is about, again, 2 best friends that have gone on many a summer vacation together, but they haven't spoken to each other in 2 years, and our main character wants to change that. She wants to be able to communicate with her best friend again, and she decides to try and convince him to go on one last vacation with her, and he miraculously agrees. So when he goes on the vacation, she knows that she only has that 1 week to try and fix what went wrong 2 years ago on vacation, and they have to lay all their cards out on the table. So I feel like we know where this one will go, but sounds like a cute summer read. Then we have the final revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, and this really gives me like Daisy Jones and the Six vibes. I'm really excited to get to this book. It's about our main character Opal, who is a black punk artist who is ahead of her time. She's growing up in Detroit in the early 70s, 1970s, and she's trying to find her way in the world and make music, and I think it's gonna be really cool. Lots of, you know, punk and rock, and I don't know, it's really just that's giving me the Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, but I really love Daisy Jones and the Six, so if it's even a hint of anything like that, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Next we have This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. Karis lives in a country that's ruled by scribes, and she is orphaned, so she doesn't really care that she no longer really has her family around and that she just has to work for the scriptorium. But when she accidentally brings to life an old automaton, things get interesting, and she realizes that she doesn't know why her father had ever wanted to destroy the automatons. I didn't expect this to be, I mean, yeah, there's cool like glyphs and everything, but I didn't expect this to be a artificial intelligence kind of situation, and I'm more intrigued now. Then we have Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. It says 6 Fae relics, 1 daring thief, the score of a lifetime. Gives me kind of like Six of Crows meets ACOTAR vibes. Really, it's just the Fae part. Yeah, this is definitely giving me Six of Crows vibes, but I really think it'll be kind of fun. It'll be a good time. Maybe when I finish Six of Crows, I'll move on to this and see if they're anything alike. Ooh, this is one of my purchases. Something I bought myself with my own money, I know. I've been wanting this for so long. So when I placed my order on Illumicrate to get the Court of Silver Flames like special edition box, I bought this at the same time. This is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski, and it's the Illumicrate special like edition that they made. It's so stunning. It just looks beautiful. It's made out of like paper material though, so gotta be careful about getting it dirty. It's so stunning. I mean, the Witcher books are some of my favorites. The Witcher in general is just such a fun, you guys know, if you've been around my channel for a long time, I love The Witcher. The one thing I will say is the books are so ugly. There's really not many pretty editions of the whole series out. There's actually none in my opinion, and then of the first book, I really do like the tie-in TV show edition. It looks really cool, but this one has always been on my list since I saw it, and I don't mind having the ugly video game looking versions of the paperbacks. It's the content that matters. This is really cool. Look at those end papers. It's a wolfie. Oh, I love this. This is just so pretty. This is cool. This is cool. That's a good purchase, Brittany. Then I have The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is a book I got in Owlcrate, and I do have the arc of this. I'm so excited about this. It's about a girl whose tribe has a tradition that when you reach a certain age, you go through a ritual to see your blood's color, to see if you're like everyone else or different, and if your blood runs gold, then you are ostracized, you are kicked out of your tribe, and you are shamed on basically. And obviously our main character ends up having gold blood, but she gets given the choice to stay and be ostracized or to be swept away and taken to be a part of the Emperor's army in a group of girls that are just like her and to learn and train to use her powers. Obviously she goes to be a warrior girl. This just sounds like it's gonna be so amazing. The premise is so cool. I'm already intrigued by the fact that potentially, you know, society made everyone believe that people with gold blood are bad just so that the emperor could then take them in to his own army. That's like the only thing that keeps popping in my head whenever I read the summary. And I don't know if that's gonna even be a thing or if I hit the nose on the I hit this hammer on the nail. Yeah, we're just gonna go right past that and right into Blessed Monsters by Emily A. Duncan. This is actually something that I unpackaged from Owlcrate, and I do want to haul it because I do have it, but I don't know how much I'll be talking about it on my channel. There is a lot of things that Emily Duncan as an author has done that is just not good, not great at all, and it's not necessarily a series or author that I want to be promoting on my channel. If you want to know more about it, I'll leave the book community video that I think is just exquisitely informative. I love her videos. I'll leave that linked down below for you to check out and make your own decisions. But yeah, it's just a really pretty book, so I'm having trouble just saying that I want to unhaul it in any way. But I don't want to promote the author, you know, maybe I'll just have it in a pretty area, but I just won't talk about it. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I just feel like reading the series now, knowing the things I know, it's going to really change how I feel about it. Then we have this, which is actually a gift from my cousin. My mom had to fly to Argentina a little while ago for a family emergency, but because of that, she got to see my family and they sent home gifts with her, which was so, so sweet. And my cousin, he knows that I have a channel and he watches my videos and he wanted to send home a book for me, and so he went out and picked out a book with my mom, and it's so cool because I actually know what this book is about. When she first gave it to me, I was like, I know that book. I was really excited about it when it first came out like a few years ago, and it's called The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee, and from what I remember, it's a dystopian novel that has to do with the fact that this whole society now lives in a tower, and the higher up you are, the more rich you are, the more influence you have. From the way it was described, I believe it's like Gossip Girl meets the future meets dystopian world. It's Manhattan in 2118. And I'm just so excited for this, but more excited about the fact that my cousin wanted to give me a book, and I really, really appreciate this. So, Joaco, si estás mirando, acá está el libro y gracias. Also, he wrote it in English in the front. He said, "Hello, Brittany, I send you a gift so you can enjoy it. Hope you like it. With love, Joaquin." I miss my family. I want to talk about this because this is something so cool. So it's The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and this book has an amazing story behind it too, because my best friend, she actually went on a foreign exchange trip, I guess 2 years ago now, when she was in Amsterdam. She was somewhere really cool. Oh, actually, you know, it says it on the inside, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Okay, so she was wherever the Shakespeare and Company... Oh, in Paris. Kilometer Zero, Paris. So it's a small bookshop in Paris. I think that she told me recently that it closed, but it's a small bookshop in Paris, and she had found this copy of The Starless Sea, which obviously was super, super cool. It had just come out, and she told me instantly, she's like, I have something for you when I get back home. And then when she got back home, because she was there for about a lot of months, she misplaced it, which is unsurprising. Me and her, we misplace a lot of things. And she was like, I lost it. I guess I'm never going to be able to give it to you. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Don't even worry about it. And then recently she found it again. And so when I went to go see her, she was able to give it to me. And this is just so, so cool. I mean, the story behind it is amazing. The stamp inside is so cool. The fact that it's like the hardcover beautiful edition with like the sprayed edges, the really beautiful end papers, like this is just so, so neat. And I'm so excited to read this. She loves it. She's been begging me to read it ever since she read it. And I'm sure I'm going to love it, because if you guys didn't know, The Night Circus is one of my all-time favorite books. It is still a book that just resonates with me to this day. Erin Morgenstern's writing is not for everyone, to be fair, but it's definitely for me. So I have high hopes for this book. And thank you, Sam, if you're watching this, because that's just so cool. That's so cool. My friends are so cool. My family's so cool. I have a lot of things to be grateful for. And now let's talk about the last 5 Book of the Month books. These, I think I'm not going to speed through it. We have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. This is giving me very, very strong Madeline Miller vibes, just because it's like a Greek story retelling. So it's about Ariadne, the princess of Crete, and I'm just really excited because I love Greek mythology. I love new forms of Greek mythology, and I'm sure I'm gonna have a great time with it. I learned so much from these stories. I always thought that I knew so much about Greek mythology, and then I'll read a new story that has to do with even a hint of Greek mythology, and I'm like, oh, definitely didn't know that at all. That was me reading the Percy Jackson series. Anyways, then we have Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nguyen, and this is about a Vietnamese family and how they struggle to stay in touch and how their lives change once they immigrate to New Orleans. It follows them through time as they try and find a way to stay together and stay close to their heritage. Next, we have How Lucky by Will Leach. This follows Daniel, who, in his own opinion, lives a very blessed and lucky life, even though he is confined to a wheelchair and has a very hard physical disability and is mostly confined to his house, but he gets to kind of sit at home and watch football, and there's a lovely lady who crosses the street and lives near him that he gets to see every once in a while, and then he's pretty sure she gets kidnapped, which is really scary because he's confined to his wheelchair and he can't really leave his house. So he's trying to unfold the mystery of what's going on across the street and if she's really being kidnapped and how he's going to figure this out. And it's supposed to be very like heartwarming and charming and funny, but also thrillery. It's a lot of different genres mixed into one, and it seems like it's going to be a very good time. Then we have Imposter Syndrome by Kathy Wang. This is so fascinating to me because I know that it has to do briefly with the idea of Big Brother, but also how that plays a role in Silicon Valley and just the way that people view themselves and the plastic surgery industry and wanting to always be better and, you know, learning to kind of maybe love the skin you're in and why it's so hard to do that. I am just so fascinated in this. It is fiction, so it's just a fun story with all of those elements mixed in, so I'm just very curious to see how it's going to tackle that, and I'm interested to see the commentary. And the last book we have today is going to be The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is about a newlywed wife whose husband mysteriously disappears, and he leaves her one note, and it's to protect her, and the her in question is his 16-year-old daughter, who she is now the stepmother of, and it's about her kind of unraveling and trying to unravel the mystery of her husband's disappearance while also protecting herself and her new stepdaughter. So obviously a thriller. I thought that this book haul was going to be more boring just because there were so many book of the month books and books that I've talked about before, and I always feel weird doing that, especially if I don't have a lot of books that I bought myself to even it out, but I thought this was fun. It's really cool to kind of like be able to recap all of the summaries and remember that a lot of these are books that I wanted to get to, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, mostly this is just so I can get these books into my shelves, we can finally film a bookshelf tour, and I can pack the books because, again, we have less than 2 weeks until we have to move out, and I have a lot of books. But the good news is a bookshelf tour is imminent. Also, there are a couple of books in here that aren't in this haul, and it's because I haven't opened the boxes yet. I'm behind on Fairy Loot and Owl Crate videos, but this time it wasn't really my fault because my Fairy Loot box for a couple months ago came super late, and by the time it came, my other Owl Crate had already arrived and the Fairy Loot was already coming in. I do still think I want to separate the videos, but I was trying to decide that before this haul, and I was like, you know what, there'll just not be some books in this haul. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's cool that I haven't bought most of these books. Again, I'm on a book buying ban, so expect another one of those come book shopping with me online kind of videos soon because I had a really good time filming that. And that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. Thank you so much to Scentbird again for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out my link if you want to give them a try and have a new scent for summer. That's literally why I wanted a new perfume, is because I wanted a new scent for summer. Is that sad? I don't think so. But other than that, I will see you in my next one. I love you all so much, and goodbye.